Hi, my name is Collin Nafziger.
I'm Rebecca Harrison.
And I'm Josh Pittendreigh, and today we're going to be talking about wood frogs. Now, wood frogs happen to be a frog that is found from the northern part of Georgia all the way to the Arctic Circle. And so the way that you can tell that they're a wood frog is that they have a black mass that follows their mouth and also up through to their eyes. They come in brown, yellow, red, or orange in color, and they also have a stripe on the back. Now, Rebecca's going to be talking a little about what their habitat is. So, Rebecca?
All right, so the question is, where can you find wood frogs? Now, you'd be surprised that they're pretty common. Wood frogs can be found in woodlands or vernal pools, which is right behind me. So we have a very prime environment going on right now, so maybe we'll hear some. Relatively, their diet, though, is algae, invertebrates, so beetles and all sorts of spiders. A big part of their diet, though, actually helps with the environment. They do play a part, which is great. They bring down the insect population, so there aren't too many mosquitoes to help us out. And Colin's going to talk to us about the reproduction system.
Now, for the reproduction cycle of these frogs, as Rebecca said, you're going to want frogs around to keep down on the insects, the mosquitoes, the flies, everything like that that's going to bite you and, just be a pain. So for these frogs, when the males thaw out in the spring, thaw, they literally freeze over winter. When the frogs thaw out in the spring, they'll make their way towards vernal pools such as the one behind me here. These pools are generally created by rainwater or something like that, so they're dependent on the amount of rainfall as well as snow melt for the year. So the location of the pools can vary and they're not always going to be in the same spot. This also means that there won't be predators in the pool, such as fish or anything else that are going to come along and prey on the eggs once they're laid. Now, the male frog will make his way towards the bank of the pool, and once he's here, he'll use a duck-like call to attract the female frog. The female will then enter the water, and the male will latch onto her back for anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. And while it's there, the male will release his sperm while the female frog ovulates into the water, thus externally fertilizing the eggs. The eggs are then remaining in the water, and the female frog will push them somewhere towards the bank to keep them out of the way from predators and just, a little more protected and secluded from the rest of the waters. Now I believe Josh has a little bit more for us.
Okay, so Collin had said that the frogs thaw. That is because they have a physiological capability of doing that. They happen to be the only amphibian or cold-blooded animal that is found and lives consistently above the Arctic Circle. So what makes them be able to do that? In their blood, they have the special protein that increases the amount of glucose that their blood can contain during the winter season. And so that allows them to survive in -6 degrees Celsius weather consistently. And as that increase of glucose is being made, what it does is it stops the icicle formation within their own organs or within their blood, and it stops that process from happening. And so everything that does with their organs and blood will consistently be warmer than freezing temperatures, and then the rest of their body, their skin or any of the other extremities, will freeze, and that actually protects their organs. So right now we're going to take a look at the vernal pond that we have right here, and we're going to take a look at some of the eggs, and we're going to see if we can find one of our wood frogs. So, as you can see right down here, those patches right there are consisting of wood frog eggs. They are the only eggs right now that we can see. You do hear in the background some peepers, so they are starting. Some of the adults are starting to form, but these are the only amphibians that have already laid their eggs. So let's see if we can find some of the adult frogs here in the water. As Rebecca had already said, this is prime habitat. And why is that, Rebecca?
It's prime habitat because they love to be under brush, which is very common. And the one thing I'd like to add as far as noticing as we're looking at eggs is that where we're going to find wood frogs is more so common farther away because wood frogs will lay their eggs, but then they will scatter because they don't want to be too close to them. Also, wood frogs are very common out in the brush woods over here, so if there's a vernal pool, it's very common that you'll see them under some rocks, so we might be able to find some out under there. But otherwise, a vernal pool is ideal. So hopefully we can find one this evening.
We did see one earlier, and we did hear its call. Now, Collin, you talked a little about the mating process. What does the mating call sound like?
It's kind of like a duck call. I'm sure you've all heard it. It's like a deep guttural. It's hard to replicate, and I'm not going to try it just for the sake of my own embarrassment here. But it's very distinguishable. Once you hear it, you'll know exactly what it is. It doesn't really sound like anything else that you're going to hear around these areas.
So as we're looking, we are seeing all this brush that Rebecca had told us about. And notice that it layers over each other. So if you see under the brush, there may be one right there. Nope, that's a stick. Oops.
I'm looking for the bubbles, if anything.
And that is a good way to look for it, Rebecca, to look for the bubbles.
I'm not seeing anything.
But as with any nature walk that we do take, not always will you see the species that you're looking for.
Oh.
Oop. Over there?
One just jumped.
Yep. I heard it go.
Oop. That one right there.
Yeah, he's going. He swam out that way somewhere.
So what's the end message we want to give then to our people that are on our hike?
I think our end message really is keep your eyes open, because even though if you can't find what you're looking for originally, definitely listen and look around your surroundings. I mean, right now we have a great audition from our peepers, and we hear that spring is coming. But I think just to embrace, the fun of it, and to also learn something new, because I know from myself I had learned about wood frogs and I knew some knowledge, but now I know a little more, and I think they're really cool and I hope to find one.
And also, following LNT, what should we do?
Don't touch the frogs, don't pick them up, because what's on your hands and stuff can harm our friends, and we don't want to do that. It's good LNT practice to begin with.
And Collin, any final remarks?
Just, if you think you know everything about nature, you think you know about frogs, look them up. Did any of you ever know that these frogs literally freeze over the winter and then thaw out in the spring? Because I had no idea, and I thought I knew a fair amount about all sorts of wildlife. So no matter how common you think things can be, do a little research. You never know what you're going to find out.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.